had a situation where we had, well, as you know, it's a teacher shortage. So North
Of
College Hill
course.
is a
Yeah.
small suburb school, and it was tough for us getting subs in. And teachers, everybody thought after the pandemic things were going to change, things were going to get better, and teachers were going to come back, and they were excited. That didn't happen for North College Hills. Our teachers came back, and something changed in them, and
Hmm.
a lot of teachers struggled coming back into the classroom. And we found out that teachers were taking a lot of time, personal time, to themselves just to be mentally prepared to come back into the classroom. And we had a situation where on any given day, 1 out of 3 staff members were
Wow.
absent. Our absenteeism basically was around 33, 32, and 33% a month.
Wow. Oh my
And
goodness.
I
That's
was
hard to
struggling.
function.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh,
So it was just
wow.
for me struggling to get subs. We knew it was a bad situation. The board knew it was a bad situation. My team knew it was a bad situation because believe it or not, all of us were over at the buildings covering classes and
Yeah,
doing
right.
supervision.
Instead of the other jobs that needed to be done,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
that was something that drove us to go to a 4 day. And it's interesting, being African American male, I actually was going to school. I was in school at that time to get my doctorate, and my goal was to figure out basically how could I recruit and retain African American males K-12, because I've been in the game, like I said, over 30 years, and I could not find African American males teachers. And so that's
Right.
what I wanted to kind of study. And after the pandemic, I realized that I couldn't find a teacher, not male, not
Mm-hmm.
female, not black or white,
Right.
Asian. It was just a situation where they didn't exist, and we had to do something. And I was reading an article, and the article said, could a 4 day school district save the teaching profession?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Dr. Eugene Blalock Jr. He is the superintendent at North College Hill City School District in Cincinnati, Ohio. Eugene, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm excited to speak with you and just talk education. Like you said, my name is Dr. Eugene Blalock Jr. I am the superintendent of North College Hill City School District. I've been a superintendent now for 30, I'm sorry, I've been a superintendent for 11 years, but
11
I've
years.
been
Wow.
in education for 31 years. So I'm just excited to say 31 because I get to retire at 32.
There you go.
So
And I'm,
anyway, I've been
where's my retirement? I'm missing it somewhere.
so one more year to go, and I'm excited about finishing strong. But
Yeah.
North College Hill is a small suburban urban school, and we're in, like I said, Cincinnati, Ohio. We're about 1,400 students. We
Hmm.
have 4 school buildings. We have an elementary, middle school, high school, and we also have alternative learning center, Trojan Way Learning Center, that I'm really excited about. And our students, we're 100% economically disadvantaged. We
Mm.
have 20% special needs, or students who are considered special needs as far as IEPs and
Yeah.
whatnot. As
Hmm.
far as the population, we're probably 78% African American. And then we have mixed race, we have other white, and then we have other, but predominantly African American.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So how long has North College Hill been there?
Oh, we've been here forever. So the building I'm
No,
sitting
good.
in right now, which is my board office, it was here in 1923.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
100 years where I sit right now in my office. So I think it was, I don't want to throw out the wrong date, but we've been here for quite some time.
Wow, wow. So what would you say are some of your biggest challenges and some of your biggest wins right now? I know it's a tough time right now.
It's a very tough time. So I'm gonna say some wins. So,
Sure,
like I said, I've been the
absolutely.
superintendent for 11 years. So this is finishing my 11th year, and I have a couple things I'm extremely proud of that we were able to accomplish as a team, as a district. And one of the things was what I said, that alternative learning center. We created Trojan Way Learning Center right after. Well, we actually created it during the pandemic, right before the pandemic happened. So the school was supposed to have a virtual school. We were going to be an alternative to suspension and expulsion. We were going to be a transition for those students who might have, had some tough times and have been incarcerated per se and would be able to come back into the district. And we also created small resource rooms for those students who might not be able to make it in the traditional school setting. And we would normally, in the past, we used to send those students out to different schools, I should say, outside placements. And we decided to create our own school within a school and keep those students here. So I'm extremely excited or happy about what's happened with that. The interesting thing with it, I said it happened during the pandemic. When we started this, we had 5 virtual students. And then the
Okay.
pandemic hit and we had 500
Yes, you
virtual.
did. Yes, you
So,
did.
which we weren't prepared for, but education, we pivoted and we were ready, and we did
Yeah.
a awesome job with handling that during that time. And now we're probably about a hundred students in our virtual program,
Mm.
and that's K through 12. And I'm really excited about that. And another thing that we have, we're the first school district in Ohio, the first school district in Ohio to go to a 4-day blended work week.
Okay.
So, and that actually happened. A lot of stuff I'm saying happened because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
we had a situation where we had, well, as you know, it's a teacher shortage. So North
Of
College
course.
Hill is a
Yeah.
small suburb school, and it was tough for us getting subs in. And teachers, everybody thought after the pandemic things were going to change, things were going to get better, and teachers were going to come back, and they were excited. That didn't happen for North College Hills. Our teachers came back and something changed in them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teachers struggled coming back into the classroom. And we found out the teachers were taking a lot of time, personal time to themselves just to be mentally prepared to come back into the classroom. And we had a situation where on any given day, 1 out of 3 staff members were
Wow.
absent. Our absenteeism basically was around 33, 32, and 33% a month.
Wow. Oh my
And
goodness.
I
That's
was
hard to
struggling.
function. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Oh
So it was
wow.
just for me struggling to get subs. We knew it was a bad situation. The board knew it was a bad situation. My team knew it was a bad situation because believe it or not, all of us were over at the buildings covering classes and
Yeah,
doing
right.
supervision.
Instead of the other jobs that needed to be done,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
so that was something that drove us to go to a 4-day. And it's interesting, being African American male, I actually was going to school. I was in school at that time to get my doctorate, and my goal was to figure out basically how could I recruit and retain African American males K-12, because I've been in the game, like I said, over 30 years, and I could not find African American males teachers. And so that's
Right.
what I wanted to kind of study. And after the pandemic, I realized that I couldn't find a teacher, not male, not
Mm-hmm.
female, not black or white,
Right.
Asian. It was just a situation where they didn't exist and we had to do something. And I was reading an article, and the article said, could a 4-day school district save the teaching profession? And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of delved into it. And 3 years later, this is our third year as
Okay.
a 4-day blended learning school district, and it's working out extremely well. Just kind of explain that our teachers, everybody works 5 days a week. So let me
Okay.
say that.
Yeah.
But our students come to school 4 days a week. They come Tuesday through Friday, and
Okay.
Mondays are used. We use Mondays. Our teachers use Mondays. Staff use Mondays for planning, preparing for our students. So we use that time to use data to drive instruction, basically looking at what the students and their individual needs. And it's worked
Mm-hmm.
out extremely well. We've seen some growth. Our students continue to grow. We may not make what they would say proficient on the state report card, but that's because a number of our students, they come in and they're below grade level.
Oh yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have data that we can share that show that students are making at least a year's growth and sometimes more than a year's growth. And although we're happy and we're excited, and their parents are happy and families excited about it, because they're growing. When you share information in the public eye, all they see is they didn't make proficient. They don't see the
Right.
work that went behind and what they have been doing and what they've achieved.
And that's what Brighter Together is all about, is trying to take some of that stigma and the schools are all failing, and giving you guys an opportunity to say, look, here's a number, but here's what we're doing, and we're winning. We may not be winning in your eyes, but in the eyes of our parents, in the eyes of our
Yes.
students, and the eyes of God, in my opinion, we
Hmm.
are winning. We are moving forward. We are doing positive things. And God bless you for that, because that matters. Oh, that just gives me chills. I just love that so much.
It's
So,
been exciting. We've been able,
yeah.
we talk about it matters. So that Monday, number one, I want to say it was about mental health and is about our teachers. So I started with the kind of hypothesis that if our teachers are in a better place, they would much they would do much better in front of their students. So giving the teachers the time and opportunity to plan and prepare for their students has been a is what they say to me has been a godsend. The gift of time has been everything. And to hear some of the things that they had to say in their surveys was amazing about how this allowing them this time. And but most individuals who are not in education, they don't understand how much time teachers really put in, to be able to, they work a full day. Sometimes they go without a plan bill, which means they're not getting time to work or prepare for their students. So they're doing that after school. They don't have time to grade papers and run
After
all
school, on the
copies. That's
weekends,
after
in the
school
evenings.
or on
Yeah.
the weekend.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those situations where as I look at it and we talk to them, they've been extremely happy with the time that they've been given.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple teachers that's been teaching over 20 years have said that this basically changed their life, that it gave them kind of a new leaf on life, or
Right.
changed the
Yeah.
pace because they were really getting burnt out. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this is something that if more districts will go to it, would help with teacher burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And now with everything going on with school funding, I'm getting calls because, some schools go to a 4-day to save money because there's a lot of things that you can do. For North College Hill, we didn't do it to save money. We did it to save teachers and save the
Teachers.
profession.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's beautiful, because I was wondering about that, and you've kind of already answered all of my questions, because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so how do you defend it? You've already defended it. How did the teachers, what caused the decrease in absenteeism? And it just sounds like they've got time outside of work that's not specific. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like, you've seen a significant drop. You said you were at
Well,
33%,
let
right?
me just say, remember when I
Yeah.
said that our absenteeism was
Uh-huh.
at 32, 33, 32% monthly? That was the
Right.
monthly average, one out of three. My absenteeism is about 8 to 9% now.
Wow.
So the idea that we're over in the building covering classes, teachers are here, teachers are happy. Back before we went to the 4-day, as I walked through the building, it was just morale was just down.
And you can feel it, and
Individuals,
the
you can
kids
see it in
feel
their
that.
eyes.
Yeah.
You're looking at them and they're
Mm-hmm.
there, but they're not there. I think in their heart they wanted to give 100%. They even might have thought they were giving 100%, but it just wasn't there. It was definitely a perfunctory effort on all parts. But
Gotcha.
now they are working together. They're collaborating. They're using that time, that data to drive instruction. They I ask questions about, how has it changed their life? And they talk about the work-life balance. They're
Mm-hmm.
even able to spend more time, family time, and be
Mm-hmm.
present with their significant other, their partners, because now when they're home, they can pay attention to what's going on and
At
not
home.
worry about preparing for lessons and things of that nature.
Right.
So that's been just amazing to hear them talk about it and to hear them encourage other people to come to North College Hill. When I first started this, in North College here, we're a small school district, like I said. And when I would go to job fairs, I couldn't get people to come to North College Hill. The
Mm.
last job fair I went to, I had the longest line, and they basically
Oh,
had to put me
nice.
out of Miami University because I had so many students inquiring about North College Hill and about what we were doing with the 4-day. And I want to hit some real quick if I
Sure.
can.
No, no,
So
you're fine. Please. Yeah.
for our 4-day, it was some barriers that went in, and some of the things that they talked about. what works in North College Hill, when I talk about it, may not work in other school districts because we're a small school district. One, we don't have busing, so we're 2 miles radius, walking school district. So on Monday, all of our students are allowed to come up to get a meal. And then we decided with our K through 8, because remember I said everyone's working, although the teachers may be planning, all of our support staff, educational aides, they're here at school. And so we offer K through 8 families the opportunity to come into the school. We call it family support, but we also, use that time for intervention, instruction, small group instruction. And next year, we're really going to start inviting those using data and inviting those individuals up who might be below grade level to try to come up and really encourage the parents. Please send them because we can, use that time in a small group environment and do some targeted instruction. So I really see us next year doing some wonderful things with that. And like I said, we've seen growth, but I think if we just move just a nudge and try to get those individuals in, that'll go up. And one of the things that's been amazing is our 9th through 12th grade. So we use that time and we encourage those students to seek jobs, to do career explorations, to do college visits. We have programs on campus now where, or I say we have programs on campus, but we also have partnerships with individuals that's doing construction, nurses aid, STEM, drones. So we've been able to connect those students and with opportunities to help them after high school. So if they want to go to college, you know what? We have a track for you and we can get you there. If you want to go to the military, you know what? Mondays is a perfect opportunity for you to meet with our United States military or participate in any type of drilling or ROTC programs that they may have. And then the other piece is that career exploration. And it's been huge. I have more companies coming to me, asking me what we're doing and seeing if they can get first dibs at this new workforce
Oh,
that I have
nice.
available for them than I've had my entire life. So it's been wonderful.
That's fantastic. So, are you obviously you've seen an increase in your listen to me, I'm therapy company, so therapist, your teachers to be present. But what have you? I know it's spilled over. You're just saying it, but I would love to hear like what have you seen with the children, with their discipline, and I'm sure it's probably made a big impact there as well.
You know what it has, and that's interesting you asked that. And I don't think people understand uh, the stress that the students are going through now. I mean,
Yeah.
you understand, but that's huge when you talk about mental health for even the students. The students, when we ask them, especially more, we usually do it with our middle school, high schoolers, but they welcome, they like the opportunity. They're not at school and they need that break, and it allows them to do other things. So I think it's been a positive as far as our school discipline. Our school discipline definitely has went down. Our bullying reports have went down. One of the things that we've seen and we've been able to do also is that we've been able to offer counseling on those days and therapy on those days. So those students don't miss out on the academic piece of class. So, in school, you come to school and then the therapists come, they pull you out of math. Teachers are mad, you're mad. So now we have opportunity for actually to have some of those therapeutic sessions that happen at the school but does not interfere with the academic classroom. And that's been helpful also. So it's so many positives that I've seen with the 4-day school week. And I'm really excited about continuing to kind of, I guess, be the flag bearer for this. Because with everything going on with school funding, and I'll just kind of get it's a sore spot for me, so I'll talk about it though. But in Ohio right now, we have a situation where a lot of schools are going out for levies. And it's basically because I'll just say North College Hill. So North College Hill last year or last March, in March, probably what a month ago, I had to look 20 some people in the eyes and say that they wouldn't have jobs next year because of the defunding of public education. So it's nothing that we did. We haven't had a school levy in over 20 years. But because the legislators in Columbus have decided to do, we had something called a fair funding plan, and that was agreed to in 2021. And then in 2023, that money was pulled out of there, which meant that North College Hill next year was supposed to receive 8.1 million dollars. We'll only receive one. Again, we were supposed to receive 8.1. We will only receive $1.7 million. So when you look at a school economically disadvantaged where 72% of our funding come from the state, that's going to hurt us. And then they're saying, hey, we don't have the money, but yet and still they provided $1 billion in vouchers to private schools. And I tell people I don't have a problem with choice, but I do have a problem when you use public funding, which is supposed to go to public schools, which is a common good that the state is supposed to support, and you take that money from our families and then you give that money to individuals who probably would, I can tell you, and most of them would never be, they would have never went to North College Hill anyway. They had planned on going to private schools because that's their preference. And if that's their preference, I support that, but I don't think our students should have to pay for that. And that's what's going on. So, I'll just say we have a levy up, so we're fighting the good fight to try to get that passed. But if that doesn't pass, we're looking at making some deeper cuts, and that's going to hurt our students and the progress that we've made.
There is a crisis in this country, a massive shortage of special education teachers. We know how devastating this can be for your students, families, and staff. Lighthouse Therapy places experienced special education teachers in virtual, hybrid, and on-site roles, and we handle everything from hiring to onboarding to mentorship. These aren't just placements, they're professionals who understand compliance, collaboration, and care. Let us help you fill in the gaps with special education teachers who really understand. We are here to help. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to connect with us today. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah, it's such a broken system. How funding in education and even and I've said this a million times on the show, but the funding in education is broken and is upside down and backwards. And how we, you touched on it early on, how we judge how a school is doing by a test score for a child one moment in time, and that's supposed to regulate and tell you how that child has done for the entire year. It doesn't address the fact that mom and dad were fighting, if dad was even there, right? It doesn't affect the fact that even though you guys are doing the best that you can, maybe they didn't even make it to breakfast that day, so they didn't have breakfast that day, so they're hungry, and the emotional trauma that they're dealing with, and all of those things that you and I both need. You have to have all of these things to even be able to learn, and none of that is being taken into consideration. And we wonder why education, quote, is failing in the United States when you don't even have a system that is fair at all to judge how kids are doing. And so it just makes me crazy. It really does. Really makes me crazy.
When you try to explain it to people, when you talk to them and you give them the facts, most of them get it. At first I think, you have a community that, all they see is this report card.
Right.
But the interesting thing is, if you go into the school building and talk to the parents, they love the school. Most parents love the school, love the teachers, love everything that's going on. It's the individuals who they do not have kids in the building, and they don't see the good things, the wonderful things, the hard work of the teachers, administrators, support staff, secretaries, custodians. They don't see all the hard work that's going into creating a safe environment for these students, a nurturing environment where they can really exceed the expectations, or at least meet their expectation. Only thing they see is, that once you said it, it was beautifully, one moment in time, a one day, a one shot, not taken into, this year I literally had a situation where it was a huge disturbance in the neighborhood and everybody was affected by it. But guess what? The next day we had testing, and I couldn't say, you know what, we're not going to test today. We had to, have a talk and continue like nothing happened, understanding that, some of our students had some tremendous loss. And even if it wasn't a direct loss, they knew the individual who was affected by it. And, going in, you still have to deal with that. And I said this, and I've been saying it, and it's sad, but this is where I'm at in my career. I said I've been doing this 31 years. I have always been a cheerleader for teachers and educators. I have 2 daughters, and I encourage them to get into education. One did, one didn't, so, I'm at 50% even in my house. But I say all that to say that I spoke to some university, individuals who I work with, and they asked me, "Hey, would you mind coming out and speaking to, our students?" And I told them, "I'm just not at a good place right now. I don't feel comfortable telling a young person because of everything going on." I'm talking from the top. I'm talking from the national, from what's going on with the president to what's going on with the governor's office, what's going on with the Department of Education, which is pretty much gone now, and then trickle that down to trying to defund public education at the state level. And then you look in Ohio, and every day you hear another district laying off 50 people, 100 people. I just don't feel comfortable going to a young person saying, you know what, education is a good place to be. And it's sad, but until things change, my who I am, my spirit won't allow me to do that to a young person. And it's really a shame when you talk about 30 some years in education where I've been one of the biggest cheerleaders and love it, encourage everybody to go to education. Even some of my students who had some of the some major issues. I said, "You would be a good teacher." You know, like,
Yeah.
you are the one who should go in education. And now all I can say is we need individuals to be friends of education at this
Mm,
time until the profession changes. But I'm not in a good place right now,
yeah.
and it saddens me.
That's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's heartbreaking to hear. But it's understandable, it
Mhm.
really is understandable. You've been with all the things and that's piece that's so hard is that people just don't see that. They'll see one news snippet and they apply something that happened at one crazy school or with one crazy person and they apply it to the entire industry and it's like
Yes.
you can't do that. And yet I see it over and over and over again. And these are people that don't even have kids in public education, It's like if they have kids, they're probably at private schools, or they never had kids, or it just drives me crazy. I just am like, you cannot even begin to know what's happening. And it's just sad. It's just really sad. And I am prayerful that we will see change because we've got to take care of our kids. We've got to take care of this next generation. And it doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter what school district you were born into. Every single child deserves the opportunity to have a free, appropriate public education,
Thank you.
right?
Say that. Yes, a free and
Yes.
appropriate education. Thank
Yes.
you. Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So one other question I had for you, not to like
Mm.
take us back, but I
Yes.
want to make sure I ask it because I know there's people that are looking into the 4 day a week.
Mhm.
How do you handle instruction days or instruction? I don't know if it's days or hours, and every state's different. But how do you handle that when you're going to a 4 day a week for the students? How do you manage
Yes,
that?
ma'am. So in Ohio, it's based off of hours.
Hours. It
So
is hours. Okay.
it's based off of hours. So we have to get 910 hours of seat time, or our students have to have 910 hours of seat time. So what I did with ours, and like I said, when I did this, I did it because I wanted to create a better situation for our teachers. So I based mine off of just, saying on this one day, the students won't come. We'll basically subtract the day. It's a non-academic day. So by being a non-academic day, the students, we don't have to do attendance or things of that nature. But I'll tell you where it hurts us at. I live in Ohio. So even this year, it got a little, the storm. We had a couple storms, but you have days where you have calamity days, and most schools may have 15, sometimes 20 calamity days. North College Hill, because we're on a 4 day, I only have about 4 to 5 days. So therefore, if we miss a day, I have to then add a day on. So some school districts, they've extended the school year to do a 4 day. Some school districts extended the school day. So either you extend the school day or you extend the school year. What we decided to do at North College Hill is say, you know what? We're going to give this day off for the students. We're going to put all of our money on our teachers being able to use their time wisely to plan. And we're going to have the teachers be able to provide more to our students because they'll be able to meet their needs. But because of that, if we miss a day, then I have to add on a day. But the beauty to that is all I this week was a makeup day. Instead of when I do makeup days, I just tell the students, you have to come in on Mondays. The teachers and staff, they're already here. So the only thing it's doing is saying, you know what, because of the weather, because of calamity, because of some situation, we need to add a day on. But the day that we're going to add on is a day that you're supposed to be at work anyway. And teachers have been grateful for that because we're
Yeah,
not
doesn't add an
extending the
extra
school
day.
year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for that. That's super
Oh,
helpful.
yeah.
And
That's
it
one
and
of the
there
questions I get asked a lot.
yeah, I bet because it is one of those things where it's like where do you take it from? It's kind of like when you're trying to figure out the budgets too. It's not just the money, it's the time and it's the kids and it's the teachers and whew, yeah, tough job. Tough job.
Yes.
So, but beautiful. Have you been the 11 years that you've been a superintendent? Have they all been at North College?
No, I actually did 20 years in the neighboring district, which was Mount Healthy City Schools. And then from there, I came over to North College Hill. Now, the beautiful thing about this, I live in North College Hill. Both my daughters graduated from North College Hill. So I'm extremely vested in the school district. And when I say the neighboring school district is really one block, 2 blocks up from where I'm at now, where I live. So I have a lot of community ties and relationships as I've been able to build. And a lot of times I'll just say our district, it's a transient district. So the same kids and families I had in Mount Healthy are some of the same kids and families I have right here in North College Hill. So when they come down, we see each other and we hug it out and say, oh, I remember when I had this person or that person here. I've been seeing a lot of my students. Now I guess I'm showing my age, but I even have students, kids now that's actually in North College Hill. And that's been a blessing to see them, see how the parents are doing, and then see them raising kids. So that's been good to
Yeah.
see come full
Yeah, I didn't
circle.
tell you. I didn't tell you when I don't think I did. Anyway, usually I tell people 32 years. I've been an SLP, a speech therapist for 32 years. So you
Oh,
and
wow.
I are really
Yeah.
close to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
same amount of time in our careers. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
It's been
I'm I'm
fun.
I'm just aging well.
Hey, you and me both. You and me both. You look
Yeah,
good.
we look
I thought
good,
you were
don't
one of
we?
those young whippersnappers just coming out of college. I figured you just finished up your doctorate or your master's after going straight through eight
Nope.
years, 4 years on this. Yeah, I figured you
Nope.
just, jump right out.
58. I'm 58 years old. There you go. Thank you, my hairdresser. She keeps the gray at bay.
I got a good one too.
Yeah. For
No
those of you
gray
that are
anywhere.
listening, Eugene is completely bald. Do you shave
Yes,
it? Do you shave it, or is it
I
just
shaved it. Yeah,
you shave it? Yeah,
I
yeah.
shaved it.
So nice beard though. He's got a
It's all gray. Yeah,
beard
yeah,
going on. Yeah,
yeah,
there you go. Okay. Well, on that silly note, let's talk about where people can go if they want to learn a little bit more about North College Hill
yeah.
and
Okay.
Dr. Blaylock.
Excuse me. Well, for
Sure.
me, I could be emailed. So my email is Blalock, BLALOCK .e@nchcityschools.org. And that's an open invitation to anybody who would like to learn more about North College Hill or the 4 day. I've spoken to a number of school districts. I actually 2 weeks ago, we had a school district come down from up north and come speak to us because they're going to a 4 day and just wanted to get a feel of what we were doing and how we were doing it. So that is my email address. And then if they want to just go to our website, it's at nchcityschools.org, and they can look us up and find out all the wonderful things we're doing here, and follow us on Facebook at North
Awesome.
College Hill School District.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Eugene, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your passion and taking care of those teachers and those kids. You take care of the teachers so they can take care of the kids. And I love that so much. So
Well, I
thank you.
appreciate you for having me, and I appreciate everything you're doing to kind of uplift uh, the industry, as some people would say, but just what we're doing in education. So keep doing what you're doing, and with
Thanks.
Lighthouse Therapy, keep helping them kids. We
Yep.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.